G'day everyone, Jason Nunn, Fisherman's Warehouse, Tackleworld Marks Point, for this Friday's fishing report and beautiful blue sky, and that's going to continue Saturday into Sunday. You're going to need to make the most of it this Mother's Day weekend as rain is coming towards the end of next week, so you've all got to get out there and have a bit of a crack. Look, low tide is around about 7 o'clock in the morning tomorrow and high tide around about 1. It's a really strange tide pattern this weekend. High tide 1.26 metres and a 0.95 low tide, less than 300 mil of variance. So there's not going to be a lot of movement, particularly on our beaches. It'll suit the beach fishing where you won't have that huge tidal exchange. So you'll be able to fish a lot of these gutters, particularly up here, Blacksmith, Belmont, up towards Redhead. Been some great reports this week. Some very good tailor getting caught early mornings and late afternoons. A lot of fish over a kilo. In fact, one of the guys came in yesterday afternoon with a photograph of a tailor that he'd caught this week. It had to be in the vicinity of around about 4 kilo. Now that fish was released. So look, there's some incredible fishing happening on our beaches. A few flathead, of course there's a few whiting, but a lot of brim. And I think this weekend with that tide pattern, it's absolutely picture perfect. Out wide, look, the current is still ripping down the coast and it's still 25 degrees. But if you come back into the inshore farm area, down towards the Texas, there's plenty on offer. A lot of longfin perch getting caught in that deep water at the moment, and a lot of, well, I'll call them squide, a small snapper, fish up to around about 2.5 kilos, but a lot of them. And of course, the good news this week is the kings are back on. Alex from work had an opportunity to duck down through the week, got some beautiful kings on jigs over the metre mark. And look, there's been some tremendous fishing. 2 weeks ago, of course, the barracuda were really sort of like peppering those jigs, and live baiting was the trick. This week it's totally changed around. Jigging seemed to be the best way to go, but look, kingies over a metre, you'll need 50-pound gear at least to start stopping some of those guys. And again, those westerly winds will put you in favour down around that Texas area, and water temperature 24 and a half degrees in on the Texas, so it's a great opportunity to do it because you'll need to get it done this week. If you're going to fish these inshore reefs, a lot on offer. There's still a lot of surf activity. Mac tuna, still a lot of very big bonito, and some of these bonito 3 and 4 kilo, I might say. A lot of tailor, and on our reefs there's a lot of squire getting caught. Some beautiful fish getting caught south Catherine Hill Bay down to Bird Island. Fish around about that 35 to 45, but big numbers on them, so I would expect bag limit catches of squire this weekend. Up towards Redhead, it's the same thing, but plenty of brim and tarwine and a lot of flathead on those inshore reefs. Trag, they've been a little bit up and down. Wybung's still getting some nice ones, and there's some smallish type ones up around that Fruitshire area. But again, that westerly wind is perfect for these inshore conditions. You're going to get out in the lake. A lot of mulloway got caught this week, and we're now starting to see a lot of fish on these bait schools. Steve Norris, one of our good mates, he had an opportunity to catch a fish this week, 1.25 metre fish, and was released. Steve does a lot of tag and releasing of flathead, of course, but that's a cracking fish. That's probably a fish around about sort of like 17, 18 kilo, I reckon. So, but again, it was released and was caught in relatively shallow water. A lot of mullet down that southern end of the lake, so it's a bit of a tip, looking for a bit of surface activity, whether the birds are working on the bait or even mullet schooling up. Some of these big dew are getting underneath them. There's still a lot of reds in the lake, and of course, Alan McBean caught a beautiful fish last Saturday night, 71 centimetres. That's a beautiful lake snapper getting caught. And look, Alan puts a lot of time in out there. He did get a few brim, of course, and a cracking big flathead. So if you put the time in, you're going to get the rewards. Squid, they've been a little bit tough to get. Look, there's still a few down at Murray's. Obviously the drop over is always worth a go, but you will find patches of these guys around, and there's still some very big flathead in the channel. I watched one this week get released around about 90 centimetres, so there's some beautiful fish getting caught, a lot of brim. And look, with that little tidal exchange, I think the brim fishing this week will really fire up. Still a couple of whiting on the flats, and I heard a few inquiries about crabs. There's still plenty of crabs in the lake, and you will catch them all through winter. You've just got to go into the deeper water, and you'll get a lot more males in that deeper water. In around about 8 or 9 metres is my tip. Now, of course, our Fisherman's Warehouse Fish of the Week this week is Tom Dowton, and Tom, he had an opportunity to get down to Caves Beach and caught an 85 centimetre Mac tuna, and that's the type of quality that you're going to see. There have been also a few longtails down there, and reports come in from last week of a couple of cobia lost just south of the island. So there's still time to get out there and have a crack on some of these big surface fish. Weather's great. Let's get out there. Happy Mother's Day to all the ladies listening, and I'll see you next Friday.